gonna go in, break this down live with y'all, and I'm curious to hear like what y'all's thoughts were, both on the album and on the video. But obviously there's a lot of symbolism in this. I really like comparing this to the last time Kanye and Travis worked together, the Wash Us in the Blood video. There's a few things that are similar between those two videos. A song about religion, a song about God and faith, with visuals that have to do with God and faith, but mixed in are like kind of life and practice, you know, like how life really plays out compared to the ideal, right? Like you see this video ends, everything that's been going on in this church is finally over. The only people left in the church after all is said and done, right? The true like believer, the choir, like music, this child in the back. So if we're comparing this to Wash Us in the Blood, there's a lot of similar things that we see, right? It's like the video's about Christ, the video's about religion, and then we get mixed in like all these things that have to do with like our current society, right? So like we get things about war and the government. Like there's almost like a different version of him underneath this mask, right? That reminded me a lot of this moment when he gets unmasked by the astronauts here. And just the idea of masks, right? Like with the wrestlers all having masks on. And then Travis also gets unmasked. After we see all these aspects of culture juxtaposed on this idea of like ideal faith, like a little girl.
Holy Spirit, come down. We need you now. Wash us in the...
But then here, we kind of see the same thing, right? Two of the only things that are left are like the little girl and the choir. If we kind of follow the storyline here, or the order that things happen in, let's look at our characters, right? We have these two women in the front, kind of like dressed up nice. We have Ye, Michael Jackson, woman and her child, but the woman has like a cat face. The child in the back, the two children opening the door, the two nuns, one of them is sleeping though. This guy like dressed up, and this like robot woman, right? And you notice this guy in the back, walking with the cross. He's like right outside, but he doesn't make it into the church until the very end of the video. Almost as if he couldn't get let in until all this was like done happening. Almost as if like true faith didn't have a place in this church. We learned that everyone's in this church for this wedding.
Paychecks off the right steps.
He drops his cake. The kid trips him. The cake is like perfectly fine after. Same thing with these doves outside, right? Like everything about the wedding is phony, but that's the reason everyone's here. The entire like group of people who were, you know, here for the church, supposedly, including the priest himself, after being outside the window at the very beginning of the video, he could finally come in. And when all this like kind of like show is over, now it's finally like the time where he could actually
help us now.
You see like the girl in the back kind of gestures to the boys. Closing out, like the show's over. Like after all said and done, now finally like faith can come back in. After like this space, the church has been co-opted for all these other things. So what are the other things that the church or like the guise of religion gets co-opted for during this? The first thing we see happen, the cop car and the knight on horseback kind of come in at the same time. I really like the idea of like looking at the layering in this. So we have like this layering, knight on horseback and cop car. We have this layering, Ye and Michael Jackson. It's kind of like an anachronistic layering. It's like, this is what came before this, and this is what came before this. Dark horses symbolize like end times, but I don't think that's like a big symbol here that translates into like any other storylines. I just think it's like there. These characters here is kind of like the next thing I see as a thread. This guy who kind of I feel like represents like a scammer, like hustler culture, doing magic tricks to impress like this fake woman, right? Now, I don't think it matters to him even that the woman is a robot, that the woman is fake. What matters is like the impression to everyone like behind that he's sitting here with like a real woman. Even in that is a trick, because you see this kid sitting in a back row. The whole phase where he opens this wallet, he's watching it happen, right? He's like, oh, like this guy looks successful, is with this woman, pulling off these tricks and stuff. Like that's like the magic trick that he watches happen. Now after watching it, what does the kid do? He tries to emulate him, right? So ready?
Check me out then.
Almost as if he's like hiding the movement from us, not anyone else in the church, but like from our perspective. He goes and he blows out this candle, right? So like him blowing out the candle is his version of trying to emulate what this guy's doing. Our role models, or like the people that this kid is looking up to, are all kind of like just doing tricks. He sneaks away from us because he moves when we can't see him.
I ride to my old self. I used to hang on a nine.
To go do what he saw this guy doing. The significance of the trick, he opens up the wallet, and I saw a lot of people saying like it looked like a book was burning, right? He's staring at it like it's a book, and he's like almost reading. And it's interesting that like in a church, where people are reading the Bible, he's reading his wallet like money's his religion. And you get a little bit of like this fire like in a church environment, right? The money like corrupting kind of the space, like a little bit of like hell right there, right? Like the root of all evil. He's reading it kind of like almost as if it's a book, almost as if like he lost track of what he was doing. He was in the middle of doing a magic trick, but he like is now like intently paying attention to it. He's watching this happen, getting inspired by like someone who he sees is like with a woman and like has money and tries to emulate that. Like this kid right here, when we can't see him, goes and blows out this candle, and then his mom comes and gets him, right? While this guy's like still doing the same old tricks for like an audience that isn't even like there, you know, like the audience is like artificial. So I think that's an interesting little moment there. The layering in this, right? So like the fact that the kid is behind him, right? And that's like the perspective he has. Mike is like kind of like watching down on Ye. Also the fact that like he is an impersonator, right? Like people do hire impersonators for events. They're all here for a wedding. Makes sense for there to be an impersonator there, right? Yeah, it's supposed to represent Michael Jackson, but it's also, we know, a Michael Jackson impersonator, right? It's like a stand-in for him. The impersonations and the masks that we're seeing here, we used to have a real Mike, but now we have to have a fake one at the wedding. We used to have the real Ye. He's an impersonator of the actual Michael Jackson. This Ye is an impersonator of the real Ye, and he's actually an alien. Travis walking in at the same time that Ye gets dragged out is almost like that, like Travis is like a baby Ye in a way, like a stand-in for him. Not as controversial. This idea of like replacement though. Ye gets replaced by the newer Travis, and Travis is like accepted and not dragged out. And Travis is like who everyone is actually here for. Everyone's here for this wedding. As soon as the wedding's over, everyone wraps it up. Like performance, right? Like this guy, the magician, is giving a performance both to the robot who's like also performing the role of his subject, and to this kid who he's performing the role of like a successful person to. And then we get like this performance, right? This like beauty pageant type girl who walks in, and then out of nowhere, cameraman spawns. You know, I think I'm spot on with saying that cameraman's the paparazzi's wearing a bully mask, like the wrestler mask, because this is how Ye's always kind of seen the paparazzi, right? As like the villain. Yeah, the impersonator is Fabio. So a lot of layers here, a lot of things to like dig into at once, I can't lie. But we should stay on track and like keep doing it kind of like one by one. But let's go back to this knight and cop car thing, right? So let's listen to
for peace and equality. When my
Donda reading out the lyrics to Sound of the Police.
overseer, sample. Repeat it very word overseer.
Take the word overseer.
At the boombox, check out the exercise. Take the word overseer.
This is like
a sample. Repeat it very quickly in a crew, for example. Overseer, officer, yeah. Officer from overseer. You need a little clarity? Check out the similarity. The overseer rode around the plantation. The officer is out patrolling all the nation. The overseer could stop you from what you're doing. The officer will pull you over just when he's pursuing.
So that tie-in is definitely a thing. Like, the layering works an interesting way here too. But yeah, let's there's still a few things like I don't really know the answer to on this. Like, why is this sleeping nun arrested, right? Like, what is the symbolism behind that? Why is she taken? Right. And I think like a kind of like simpler answer might just be like, okay, if this is supposedly the time when like all the things that don't really represent faith and like the church well are like co-opting it and taking it over, then like the nun is the one that's gonna be arrested, right? Like she's the one that doesn't belong there, and like Ye gets taken out, he's the one that doesn't belong there. Till they all leave, and like the real representations of faith could like stay and like take that space. But you know, the night comes in, maybe like representing like war also. I don't know though. You guys have any thoughts on anything I've said so far? Um, I'm kind of still digging, kind of still like trying to find these connections. But I thought it'd be fun to do it live, with all y'all here. So might be a good time to touch on the alien stuff for sure. Might be a good time to do that. So obviously like aliens have been like a hot topic this year with like Obama coming out and talking about them, and like the current administration talking about releasing files around the aliens. And like it's interesting timing because I know like JD Vance just came out and said like he believes aliens are like demons, right? And obviously there's like a lot of conspiracy like lore and talk about like, you know, people in politics or like entertainment being like possessed by demons or like shape-shifting aliens. And you know, him throwing that in there is obviously like a nod to all of that talk, you know, and like it's obviously trying to provoke that same feeling of like, you know, you can't believe what you see, right? Like this kid in the back sees this guy with this woman, thinks it's real, but like this is an example of like technological impersonation, right? You have like a robot taking somebody's place. This is an example of like almost like social media impersonation. This guy's like an impersonator of Michael Jackson online, and that's why he's famous, right? So a lot of impersonation happening. I still don't know why like she has like a cat face. Like I really don't know the significance behind that. I think the things that I have left to figure out are like the true meaning. Yeah, so like I agree with you, Benny. Like the theme of replacement and impersonation, that's a big theme. And I want to see like how we could tie kind of all these pieces together to it. Like all of them. I just don't know if like all the symbolism is supposed to be connected to that main theme, or if he's like throwing in other meanings, like similar to Squabble Up, how like we had that overarching theme, but like a lot of the pieces were just like references to other artists, you know, like references to so and so. But I think like our general storyline, so I have a place where I put it together right in one place, is you have like all these like distractions, things that don't belong in the church. Turns out they're all here for a wedding, and they're all here for Travis's wedding. And once like this event is over, like that's all they wanted out of the church. That's all they wanted out of faith, and like they no longer have to like co-opt this space. And now like the true things that are left can come in. And like you see like Jesus can't even come into the church until all these things are gone. Even though he was like outside at the very beginning. And he's like the only thing we see outside that doesn't come right in right after we see it outside, right? We see him in the beginning. But at the end is when he comes in. After all this is over. Right? Someone said another layer could be how there's so much going on in the world, but people try to find some normalcy by going to church. And I think that's part of it. There's a sense I get of like he's trying to represent like everything going on in society right now within the walls of this church, right? So like if the world is like overseen by like God or like the Father, right? Like this is kind of like what he's seeing happening in like the earth that he created, right? Like this is what he's seeing happening in his church. So it's all these like layers of like things happening in society, like scamming and like hustling and kind of like magic. I really feel like the magic has a lot of significance, right? Like impersonating something that's real, and then you know, money being a wallet being read like it's the Bible, you know, him reading his wallet like it's a religious text in the corner here, you know, like imagine you're sitting at church and you have your wallet open and like that's what you're reading, and like that's why the fire there is important. Right. This could just be a symbol of like just injustice in general, right? Like the nun being taken away. Like social injustices happening. Money being prioritized in a place of worship, right? But what's left at the end is like true faith, you know, the hope of true faith in, you know, children and music. And then like she's just left because like she can't actually get up and move because she was just a robot the whole time. But even like the priest is gone, right? Even the priest followed the newlywed couple out, all in this kind of like fake, like sham marriage where the cake is fake, you know, he trips and the cake is completely fine, where the doves in the window are fake, right? They get like pulled up, like it's theatrics. It's all theatrics. And everyone leaves. In the Bible, there's a concept about Jesus being the groom of the world and the world being the bride. That's great. Where's that from? That is literally probably what you're probably spot on with that. There's a concept about Jesus being the groom and the world being the bride, but it ends with him alone in the church and someone else getting married. You know? So like the crucifix can't even be brought in to the church, you know, like where it's supposed to be. Can't even get in until the very end. And all these people leave with like basically like the wrong groom. You know? All these people who were here, these are all like performers in some way, right? Like this is a magician, this is a Michael Jackson impersonator. They're all performing, like even the nun, even the priest. They're all performing. And they leave when the performance is over, right? And now this guy can finally come in, and then the girl in the back, first time we see her do something, she gestures to the boys to close the door. She's like, all right, now that they're all out of there. The wedding is essentially his second coming. Yeah, you know, and I think there is like a kind of like a rebirth idea happening. Because, as I said, the layering is very important, and the placement of where people are sitting is very important, right? Who sits in Ye's place after he gets up? The seat stays empty until this man comes in, sitting right in his place, right? So there is like kind of like a rebirth here. Yeah, any other thoughts in the chat? I think that's like my main thesis on it though, is like the church being like co-opted by all these performers, all these people who are not really there for the right reasons, you know? Like she's at this wedding to get her like photo taken. He's here to like sell a dream to like this kid and also, you know, be a magician at this event. The night, I don't really know, but I think it's like there is a like flattening of time in this that's intentional, like MJ not being alive right now and Knight's not being around right now, but like almost to say like this is what's been happening across time, across different generations. So like across the generation where it's a guy on horseback and a cop car, and it's also like a future generation where we have like these robot women and like even like these cat humanoid women. Yeah, camera angle very unique. I agree. And it's like we are like we are characters in this too, as observers. And I think that's really set in stone by like the kid getting up when we can't see him, right? Like he's not getting up when his mom can't see him. He's getting up when like we have the perfect distraction, you know? Like we get distracted here. So now he's like, all right, I could sneak through the cracks, right? All right, few things I haven't touched on yet. Like little symbols that like I don't get the meaning of yet, but like why is the kid's Rubik's Cube all white? Like what is the point of an all white Rubik's Cube? He's still like solving it and shit, but like all the sides are already white. So that's, you know, and the more I watch this, the more I realize like he actually is meant to be, he's watching this guy, you know. The main thing I really haven't gone into as much is like that whole alien concept and is like the astronauts. The US flags on the astronauts' backpacks. We don't get like a lot of, yeah, the baby in the blue in the back. The only thing I noticed about her is that she makes these kids close the door. Like she gestures to them to close the door. And then I also like, I felt some kind of connection with the end of this having just like, you know, Jesus, the choir, and like a girl being like the end of Wash Us in the Blood, where we get all these like aspects of society juxtaposed with religion, all these like, you know, the evil things that happen, the parts of culture that we don't like to talk about, right? And then it ends with choir.
Wash us in the blood of Jesus.
Right?
Holy Spirit, come down. We need you now.
There's definitely like a really
Wash
cool
us in
tie between this video and like kind of the message and this video. And like it goes without saying that these are both Ye featuring Travis Scott, and like both like single music videos dropped during an album season. Like there's definitely purposeful like message there, but this is like evolved, you know, because it's things that are relevant right now, right? Like I'd say AI, you know, like this woman, and like aliens, and people getting replaced, and people getting impersonated, and people not being able to believe what they see anymore, you know? Like we can't believe what we see because of AI. And even controversy surrounding this album, we can't believe what we hear because of AI. Like a lot of people listen to the original, caught AI there. Ye said there's no AI in the new album. Now they're listening to it again and they're like, wait, like, isn't this the AI? And like what we were hearing before, was that even AI to begin with? Like impersonation, not being able to believe what you see, like, or hear, for that matter. And I think like he is very interested in that idea of, we think we see Michael Jackson, but impersonator. We think we see Ye, but he's actually an alien. This kid thinks he sees, you know, a successful man, but he's actually just doing magic, you know? He's actually just performing. That's a big theme here. And is anyone, like, no one's even paying attention to the priest lecture is also what I'm noticing. Is anyone listening? Maybe the nun is listening. But everyone's kind of in their own world with what they're doing. Let's really try to dive into this alien thing. So, I mean, like, my impression of it is that it's a touch on, like, that concept of, like, people getting cloned, people getting replaced, conspiracies about people in government, people in entertainment being, you know, like aliens. And yeah, the key of magic is about misdirection. There's a lot of misdirection happening in this video too. Damn, Chad is cooking today. Chad is cooking. But misdirection. Because there's so many times where like we're not noticing something happening because like something else is distracting us, right? And that is good right there. That just made me think about it, because Maybe it's like, to most, they might only notice like the alien thing, right? But what if like the government teasing us with like information about aliens is like a distraction in and of itself, right? Like, what if that's a distraction? Just like, this is kind of a distraction that comes out of nowhere. That could be, I don't know. I don't want to reach and say like, because there's got to be a reason like it's like pageantry. And like when I think about that, and when I think about him trying to touch on political events and like recent events and like him touching on aliens, obviously the other big theme this year is like everything going on with Epstein. And obviously like there's like a big crux of there that like women and girls were found like because of like pageantry and like Trump owning like all these like Miss Universe pageants and stuff, right? It might be a reach, but like given that he's like touching on like aliens, right? And that's a big theme of this year. This could be a big theme that he's like slightly nodding to. And then we got like the paparazzi pulling up, taking some photos. She's like gone after this though. Like, you know what I'm saying? She might be the only person that comes through. Like them two might be the only people that come through and kind of don't interact with anyone there or like sit down after. So that's interesting. Jim Carrey too. Any what do you mean by that? Let me know. Like The Mask. I've never seen that movie, but like something tells me. Yeah, something tells me you might be. Damn, you guys are cooking, bro. Something tells me that might be like, yeah, bro. Yeah. The Mask. Okay, someone's got to tell me what happens in this. I think what I remember is like when he puts the mask on, he's like a different person, right? This is definitely. You guys are definitely onto something with this one. This is definitely a reference happening. But can someone in chat explain what happened in this film and why it might be connected? This might tie together the alien stuff for real. Whoever brought that up, shout out Shaq Pack. Big shout out. Spot on. Have people been saying this online already, or did you just point that out? Because that is definitely like a missing piece. You know, her having the cat face, it kind of just reminded me of like, what's it, the Grammys? Such a cat as a cat. Like this. That's all it reminded me of. But like, obviously like there was like the Cats movie. But like, even this doesn't look as much like she looks like this woman in the video. And I wonder if there's like if anyone knows any like film significance to look like this. Because we get like alien humanoids, we get like robot humanoids, and we get like these like animal humanoids. Like, it's all very like we're touching on like Illuminati type things about like, you know, like humans. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the cat stuff's about. I actually really don't know. I bet like honestly if we like found like one of those conspiracy theory websites and like looked up them talking about the Doja Cat as a cat thing, they would probably like lead us to like a film or something. Like they would probably have some references or other places in pop culture that's been used, and have some kind of tying thing to throw in there, but I don't know what a good source for that would be. Like, if I go to like Reddit conspiracies and then like, yeah, like mixing genetics with animals, making hybrid. Yeah, like there's a sense of that though. There's a sense of like this technological dystopia where humans aren't really like humans anymore even, right? So if we're talking about impersonation and replacement, like humans are both this. And you know, that makes me think about the night too. It makes me think about the night too. Because, okay, if a human can be like a real person, right, or a performer, like him, her, and him, right, or they could be like, you know, human animal hybrid, or they could be like human but actually an alien, or they could be like alien mask but actually a human, or they could be like astronauts also wearing a mask, also wearing a helmet, this knight also wearing a helmet, you know, like all the different like masks that we wear in society kind of making us like less than human in a way. And you know, obviously like we get bully with the wrestler masks, and masks like have this effect where like I feel like in literature masks kind of dehumanize yourself, like to yourself, right? Like behind the masks you feel like you could do anything, you feel like you could like carry out something that your normal self wouldn't do. So we have the wrestlers with the masks and the bully visualizers and the listening parties, and they can be bullies because they're behind a mask. Yeah, wait, Shaq, bro, you're cooking right now. You're cooking right now. You're right, bro. You're right. Damn, you guys are low-key the best chat. Oh God. Tiana Taylor. Oh no, I should just look up Fade. Yeah, I talked about knights depicting police. I had a whole piece on that in the beginning, and specifically related to
The overseer officer is on patrol and all the name similarity. Officer, yeah. Officer, yeah.
Thank you for reminding me where I've seen that cat face before, bro. Thank you. Facts. Fade. Facts. Oh my God. Spot on. Exactly. Exactly. What did he mean? What did he mean? Literally spot on. Thank you. Thank you, Shaq Pack. Yeah. So we're looking at like a lot of different masks. A lot of different like impersonations. Astronaut mask. Knight mask. Cop with the badge. A form of mask, right? Like you could hide behind the uniform. Doing magic. Masking like reality, right? MJ impersonator. Pretending to be MJ, like a mask. I saw the comment about when Ye and Trav switched with the alien mask. I took it as the assembly line of new celebrities coming in and replacing the old. And I did touch on that earlier, and I think that's like a really important point here. Like, even in, like, Ye's always tweeted about, like, oh, they want to replace me with someone with the same, like, skills as me, but won't get into as much trouble. And like, he's scared of this idea of, like, getting replaced, especially in music. But seems to have this like confidence of like, when I come back, all the clones like just kind of have to like sit back and watch, like all the other artists, not literal clones, because like that's like you know, we can touch on that as a separate point in this video. But different from like a literal clone is like having an artist with the same kind of like skill set as you, reach the same amount of influence, come in and kind of take your spot, right? And this is something that Kanye's touched on a lot of times. He feels like has happened to him in the industry. And think about like the paths they've taken, and I just made the connection that this is a wedding, right? Like what family did Ye and Travis both marry into, right? So everything down to like, or not, I don't know if Travis and Kylie got married actually, I think they just dated. But like everything down to like, you know, their love life has kind of been a similar like pattern, right? So like this replacement, and it's really interesting that like Travis agreed to portray this replacement, right? But I'm sure he kind of sees, like kind of agrees in some way that maybe he is like the stand-in for Ye for the new era, like rapper that could produce, that has massive influence in clothing and music. But this replacement, right? Just like you said, assembly line of new celebrities coming in and replacing the old, right? We kind of like, we have these cycles of like we have like one boy band one decade, and then there's like a similar alternative the next decade, or like one blonde like pop artist one decade, and then like the new one that replaces them this decade, right? And what that says about kind of like celebrity like culture, and like even like MJ having such an influence that he has like impersonators that are famous now, you know? So not even someone like trying to clone his music, someone like that just tries to clone like who he is as a person, right? And gets invited to, you know, where we're at right now, this wedding, right? But I think like these major facets that we've touched on, right? Impersonation, you know? Not being able to believe what you see in the case of this video, and then also not being able to believe what you hear, right? How AI has been such a big narrative in the rollout for this album. Like, is this song AI? Is he using AI for these vocals? Is it just auto-tune? Like, I really feel like after seeing this video, that's an intentional, like, is that really A? No, it's not. Is that really MJ? No, it's not. Is he really doing these tricks? Like, are magic tricks real? Right? Is she a real human? No, she's a robot. Right? We get a lot of that here. So I'm really curious if y'all have any other... Oh, yeah, and then obviously I forgot to just wrap it up with the theme of, like, all these distractions, like, happening in the church. Everything that happens in society kind of happening against this religious backdrop, similar to Wash Us in the Blood. Right? Where did I have that? Whoever called out the fade thing, like, shout out you, man. But we still gotta lock in and figure out what the cat thing means. But like, there's a very similar like backdrop of like Wash Us in the Blood, but we're seeing like culture, we're seeing like war, we're seeing government, we're seeing the things that happen in society, culture, social media, murder, violence. You know, against this religious backdrop being the song, you know, war, violence with like the car scene. I don't even think I could show it without getting age restricted. But then after all that clears up, what do we get? Choir.
Wash us in the
Child,
blood of
faith,
Jesus.
right? Same exact thing. And this is a song with Travis on it. Same exact thing. We get all these distractions, whatever. You know? All with their own meanings. And then at the very end, what do we get left with? Not even the priest is still around. The priest left with the wedding crowd too. We get choir, the little girl, Faith, you know. And then she's just there because she just physically can't move. She's just a robot that this magician's been performing for this whole time. Kind of funny. Like having one-sided conversations. I think, did I touch on why the nun got packed up? I think one interpretation could be that if this is the time where the things that like belong in the church aren't allowed to be in the church, she gets packed up, right? But I don't know if that's like completely accurate, because like the choir gets to stay, the little girl gets to stay. You know, I have a couple thoughts on this, right? Maybe she just gets packed up, and that's like injustice, right? I mean, like maybe that's just the meaning. And then we have like the cops come in and they get to be another symbol of like being behind a mask. Instead, this time it's like being behind a uniform. Maybe, damn, I don't know. I think the two things I have left to talk about are Cat and connection to Fade. Yeah, they just have to choose a scapegoat. I really don't know why the nun gets packed up, but I think like if you think about like from a director or music video standpoint, if you're gonna bring in the night, if you're gonna have these symbols of like hiding behind a mask to commit injustice, it makes sense to just have a cop come in and do something, right? But I don't like, that's definitely not the only reason. I'm just saying it makes sense. So the things I really want to like make sure I touch on before this is over is Cat and what's it called? aliens. I've talked about it a lot already, but like, what is the connection to the mask? This is definitely what it is. That like, this is definitely like a semblance of like the reference, right? This is definitely related as fuck. So yeah, let me open it back up to chat. Let me pay attention to the chat again. But it's fun doing it this way, like streaming it first. Let me know also if you guys want the final video to just be like me cutting this up or like the normal format. Because I feel like if I cut this up, like things my ideas like might be like flowing better than if I try to write them down. And like the video might just be like more boring if I do. But what if I just like keep this up as a full stream too? Maybe. But let me know, yeah, like the astronauts. US flag. The US trying to distract us with like the concept of aliens. I don't know, maybe. Could be a thing. Pageantry, maybe having to do with like everything we've seen with the Epstein files this year, like pageantry. Paparazzi wearing a bully mask. We know, yeah, he doesn't like the paparazzi, etc., etc. So like that's why he's putting him as a bully. But yeah, chat, let me know. Let me know, chat. What else we're thinking? Or what you think about the points so far. Yeah. This connection, washed in the blood and Father. Definitely see it. And I think maybe I haven't touched enough on like, you know, like the concept of like father itself, or like the authoritative like figure that we get the lens of. I mean, we can have a different perspective than him though. But what is his role, right? Like all I've said so far is that, you know, he leaves at the end too. He's only there for the wedding too. But is he doing anything interesting throughout the video? Maybe let's watch one more time. We haven't sat down and like watched it through so far, so let's watch it through. I'm worried that if I watch it, like, I'm gonna pause a lot so we don't get struck down.
Give us another day, and hear our prayer. Please, Lord, when
I'm definitely gonna get copyrighted. It's like crazy, like how almost immediately, like the night and cops pull up.
you've been.
In ancient Egypt, cats were symbols of protection and good fortune. Nah, but I feel like the symbolism is definitely more along the lines of what I think maybe what Shaq was saying. Was Shaq saying it? Just like biological mixes between humans and animals, and that's like in line with the sort of like half human, half alien, half human, half robot, you know? Like this kind of, I think, falls into like the replacement thing. Like this is a future where like humans aren't even like fully humans anymore. But yeah, I think up till now, I've kind of given all my like unique points, like my unique piece of analysis. I'm really curious to see what you guys think. That's kind of where I'm at right now with it though. Like that's my thesis on it. I think I'll probably leave the stream up. I do wanna like just open the floor up like for anyone in the chat before I hop out of here. If anyone has anything else to say about it or anything else you want to look at. Should we look at What Happens in the Mask by Jim Carrey? Okay, yeah, so he was a cat in New Body too. Oh, wow. Okay. So Tiana Taylor as a cat. Okay, this is great. Like we got like real themes. Maybe it is protection and good luck. I mean, the cat human mix is like one of the oldest kind of ideas of a biological mix of a human and animal, because when you think about the Sphinx, right? In the leaked music video, you're saying? I don't think I've seen this like before. He was a cat? Oh yeah, this definitely has like a lot of like human animal mixes, which is like it fits like the theme. Oh wow, this is like a whole, I can do a whole different breakdown on this shit. But like new body and like surgery, right? Like aesthetic surgery. And then we get this like, oh shit, this is very on the nose. Like compared to what we're watching right now, like Hollywood, and then like a flame lighting in the front. It's like very like, this is a cool video though, I can't lie. But yeah, he's a cat. You are correct. Is this him? Because I don't have the volume on.
It was worth it.
Oh, is that Ty? Oh, he's a cat too though.
For it, concerned, you is a new bitch.
It's like furries, bro, low key. It's kind of bro, I mean, it's like I think it's all tied though. It's like, okay, if we can make like a robot human, we can make like an alien look like a human, like shape-shifting. We can make a human look like an animal, right? Like, it's all these like, it's very interesting. He's really,
I used to be a
this video is like so much like more polished. Feels like a
world star.
painting almost, but kind of has a similar message. I think he just likes these concepts, right? And brings them all together in this video, where there are like a lot of other messages, but like he likes the concept of, you know, this like human animal biological mix, right? Like he's used it before. And like, what does it mean? Damn, like there's like so much crazy symbolism in a lot of his videos, man. Even like bomb, but not really. But like these guys are like pretty crazy. Like animals driving ATVs and shit. All right, but yeah, that's like pretty much my thesis on things. If anyone else has any other things they want me to like go deeper in, let me know in the comments right now. Or if anyone just topped in because I saw the viewer count went up. If you want my like TLDR on certain parts of this, let me know. And I hope the stream like quality and stuff has been fine. I kind of set this up quick. But yeah, let me know. Let me know, chat. I'm sure there's definitely a lot of delay right now. Yeah. That's pretty much like all I got to say about it right now though, but I'm sure more will come up. Maybe it's worth doing another watch, but like audio off for copyright. And we'll kind of like see if we catch anything new that like confirms what we've been saying. It's definitely the kind of video you gotta watch it like over and over. Stream quality's good, alright. Thanks, Shaq. Thanks for like everyone who tuned into this. I know it's been like almost a year since I've posted, but you know, I saw this video and it just felt like right to at least talk about it. It's interesting that the cop car drives off, huh? Cop car drives off before like they even get to like bring the nun back there. Like, where are they taking her? Not to the car. Yeah, I think like that might just be like, you know, injustice as like a quick symbol, you know, like if we're within this like church context, we're like there's a lot of things that don't belong in the church like that's just like one little symbol thrown in there of that. And then we got the pageantry, we talked about that. Paparazzi and the bully mask, we talked about that. Kid crawling to go blow out the candle to go emulate this guy who just, you know, is reading his wallet like it's a Bible. You know, in the church, like, this is true religion, this is wallet. And, like, it's a little bit of, like, hell in this corner, right? Like, we got the fire. And he's, like, distracted by it, right? Like, he's in the middle of doing a trick. Yeah, white squares. White squares are 4-point symbols of purity, like the Rubik's Cube. Okay. So, yeah, I was wondering earlier about this white Rubik's Cube. Because, like, why would you solve a white Rubik's Cube? White squares are 4-point symbols of purity. Whites in what? In what tradition? White squares symbolize purity, truth. Okay. You know, it's interesting that it's like because we know the state of a Rubik's Cube is like multiple colors and is like unsolved and like you have to like organize everything, put it back together. And a white one is like one without those like kind of problems almost. So she takes it away from him after he like does this menace shit and like blows out the candle and like tries to be like this guy. Takes away his Rubik's Cube. Oh, at the end when they walk off. Yeah, cool. Yeah. And then the spaceship takes away. And then we got this guy. Sitting in the same seat Ye was sitting in. What are they holding? A bird, right? What is this? Is it a bird? Yeah. Is it a... Imagine if it's a vulture. Like a baby vulture. Is that what a baby vulture looks like? Callback? Okay. That's pretty much most of what I got. And if you guys want to just say your final pieces, if anyone else is still in chat, let me know. But I'm going to leave this VOD up. And based on kind of how it does, I might like cut it down into a smoother breakdown. I think I should cut it down into a smoother breakdown regardless, because I was doing a lot of yapping in between, like stuff we figured out. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I might do this more often if more videos like this come out. But I feel like we haven't been getting like cool videos with a lot of symbolism like recently from like big artists, so there hasn't been a lot to like do these videos on. But yeah, Father. Ye featuring Travis Scott, directed by Bianca Censori. Maybe we haven't thought about like architecture enough, right? If she's an architect. But it looks like a pretty standard church to me. It's interesting to see sitting back here, right? Like she doesn't have her own seat. Yeah. Well, great video. A lot to talk about in it. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And peace. I think I'm gonna call it there. I'll leave the VOD up.